Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
The president is back on the campaign trail and using the platform to defend his trade policies and foreign policy. I'm Laura Podesta. I'll tell you what he also said he wants to see changed at the voting booth.
Invasive plant species, we know them as weeds, can spread quickly and if left unchecked can blanket native ecosystems. I'm Mola Lengi in St. Michael's, Maryland, and I'll introduce you to one man who's turning these weeds into artwork.
Interesting story.
If I could only
there.
figure out how to do that in my yard. I'll have to learn something from Mola here in a moment.
It is 6:30 on your August 1st. Welcome to your Wednesday. Our top story for you now. President Trump is back on the campaign trail, holding a rally in Florida last night.
As CBS News' Laura Podesta explains, the president spent much of the event defending his trade policies while also calling for new measures to secure voter identification.
President Trump was greeted by chants and cheers at a rally in Tampa, Florida yesterday. He was in the Sunshine State campaigning for Congressman Ron DeSantis, who's running for governor.
Now that we have the best economy in the history of our country, this is the time to straighten out the worst trade deals ever made by any country on earth.
President Trump hit on most of his usual topics, from his economic policies to tariffs on Chinese and European imports. But one statement he made is raising questions.
You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card.
When trying to make a comment about the need for voters to carry photo identification at the polls, the president erroneously said to purchase groceries, a person needs an ID. That's not true unless they're buying alcohol, cigarettes, or certain medications.
You go out and you want to buy anything, you need ID and you need your picture. The only time you don't need it, in many cases, is when you want to vote for a president, when you want to vote for a senator.
The president also defended his denuclearization deal with North Korea. Despite reports this week, Pyongyang may be building new ballistic missiles. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Now, that rally in Florida lasted more than an hour and also included numerous attacks on the media. 6:32 now, meteorologist Carson Vickroy joins us. Kind of a breezy one out there. How's that feel? You've been talking about it for a couple of days. Possibility of rain?
Yeah, you know,
like
I mean,
there's
a little bit
of
electricity in the air.
Yeah, you can feel
for
it
tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do have a potential for a few showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, and unfortunately, some of those could be dry thunderstorms since it has been very dry over the last couple of days. And what that could do is we might have less rain but more lightning. That's why some of the area is under that red flag warning from noon to 9 o'clock today. Live look at Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport. Sunny skies, temperatures in the 80s for today. Clouds increasing with that storm chance coming in the afternoon. 50 degrees for Butte. Not as good of a chance as Bozeman this afternoon, but we will still rise into the upper 80s. We'll talk a little more about that fire risk, smoke, and also that chance of rain coming up in my full forecast. Chet and Missy.
Thank you, Carson. Now 6:33, Butte police received reports from thefts of vehicles in Uptown area over the weekend. A resident who lives on Broadway recorded this video appearing to show someone entering a vehicle late on Sunday. Police have made no arrests and those cases remain under investigation. Police are reminding everyone to call 911 if they see something suspicious.
Staying in the mining city, a 100-year-old mine hoist brought back to life this week in Butte. MTN's John Amey tells us how a group of volunteers able to resurrect this piece of mining history.
They don't build them like that anymore. Even after 40 years of sitting dormant, the old Stewart Mine Yard hoist still runs like a charm.
Well, it's kind of thrilling. It's like going to your first show or something, you know.
The 1,500 horsepower Chippy hoist was first installed in 1912 to take miners and supplies out of the mine. Last summer, a group of volunteers decided to get the old steam engine up and running again. It took plenty of work.
We shoveled a lot of pigeon crap out of here. We shoveled a lot of grease out, tar, to get down to find leaks, and then we were able to get it running.
Even though the Stewart mine shut down in 1978, they were able to get the engine started.
They were so well maintained, and when they were shut down fully lubricated. Everything's ready to go, so in spite of the fact a lot of moisture got in over the decades, when we fired them up, they were still, all the water was not rusty. We drained it out, fixed the leaks, and away she went.
At 92 years old, Louis Luchine was one of the last to operate the chippy hoist at the Stewart. He was thrilled to see it running again.
It's really a part of Butte. I think it's one of the main parts. That's how Butte originated.
These massive iron beasts of the industrial age are practically extinct, but it's important to the volunteers here to keep their memory alive.
I appreciate the fact that all these people are making an effort to preserve this, because there's a true history here of mining, and I think a lot of people in the future are going to want to know about it, and I think the only way you're going to learn it is to look at what actually took place.
Experiencing history in action. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
I love that. By the way, the work on the hoist was paid for with donations and funding from the Butte's Park and Recreation Department.
Very cool. Here's another cool story for you. The sidewalks in downtown Bozeman got a little color yesterday. Everyone, from children to teens and even adults, were drawing on the sidewalks all day on Main Street. The event kicks off the annual Sweet Pea Festival every year.
I think it just reminds me that this place is still like a small town. Even though we're growing all the time, we still have like so much wonderful community art and community gatherings that can happen downtown.
Now the Sweet Pea Festival officially begins Friday, running through Sunday.
Well, we're going to shift gears just a bit. Weeds are pesky for any gardener, but some invasive plants grow out of control and can actually damage local environments. One man in Maryland is offering a solution through art. CBS's Mola Langi is in McDaniel, Maryland.
So I call this prospecting.
Patterson Clark surveys the lush landscape, looking for weeds. For Patterson, weeding isn't just a horticultural chore.
Notice the bast on this, very flexible.
It's an artistic endeavor.
That makes a beautiful paper.
He transforms something often seen as ugly and intrusive into something beautiful and sustainable.
It's a way of showcasing the inherent value in these plants. They're regarded by many people as just the lowest of the low, but they do have something to offer.
Patterson harvests weeds to make paper, rope, ink, and even musical instruments. What made you want to get involved in it?
I was volunteering for the Park Service to remove invasive plants from a local park. So I thought, how can I best use this material? Since I'm an artist, I use art to solve my problems.
And weeds are a growing problem. What would happen to these elements if they weren't being, I guess, recycled and used?
Well, they do really well. They don't have any, many predators.
Right. In his studio, Patterson boils, presses, and shapes the weeds into materials he uses for his visual art.
This is soot from burning invasive species.
Okay. Patterson says the products and artwork he creates are all ecologically sustainable.
I'll know that I've succeeded when I run out of material, but I'm not going to run out of material anytime soon.
Patterson hopes others might be inspired to get in the weeds to find their own solution to a growing problem. Mola Langi, CBS News, McDaniel, Maryland.
I love that, by the way. For more information, Patterson Clark's artwork, visit alienweeds.com. I love the name.
Are you getting some ideas for your yard?
Well, I just love it. I mean, obviously they're invading, they're, destroy the local botany, but find some use while they're there. I love that.
Why not?
There you go, and don't spread them.
Yeah, don't spread them. And if you got a little time on your hands,
for sure,
make a little artwork out of it. Why not? We want you to stay with us. It is time for a quick break. Coming up on your August 1st, we take a look at tourist season in Montana. Most destinations include Glacier and Yellowstone, but a new marketing campaign is trying to target all the beautiful places in between. We'll have that story for you in a moment.
And there are a lot of them in between. But first, let's check in with Nora O'Donnell, see what's coming up at 7 o'clock.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, we'll talk to the CIA's former acting director, Michael Morell, about a new coordinated campaign by the Russians on Facebook to influence the midterm election. And one day after actor Alan Alda revealed his Parkinson's diagnosis on CBS this morning, we'll get an update on the effort to find a cure from a Parkinson's expert and how exercise can help patients. See you right at 7.